Road hierarchy is holding you back. Now before you get your pitchforks out, let me explain. Road hierarchy is not the problem. The problem is that most people use it so rigidly that their grids stop feeling connected, functional, and natural. And if you use suburban road logic in a dense area, it only makes it worse. So today, I'm going to show you how to build better grids without completely throwing road hierarchy out the window. We'll start by framing the area, then create a few orientation points to guide the layout. We'll build the final grid, zone everything in, and then detail the whole area to make it feel integrated. Let's jump in. Alright, so starting things off, we are going to ignore any issues the city has because our budget is still tight and we need some more wiggle room. Even with that said, we are going to have to solve waste management really soon. Let's frame out this entire area. There's really 3 framing devices you can use. The first one would be the terrain. So instead of plowing right through, you can wrap your roads around the contour lines. The second one would be main arterials or highways. And what I mean by that is you can build your grid off of it. Now, if it's a major highway or an interstate, you definitely don't want to be making any connections into it. But because this is a rural highway, and it will be transitioned to a 4-lane down the road, in this case, it's not going to matter too much. The last framing device would be the water. Because this area is pretty much flat, we're going to use the water and the main highway. Let's start with the water. We're going to need a few anchor points, and we're going to use these to help build the grid. So let's start by getting really close to this highway. Let's turn our key wall on, and we'll pull that down to right about there. Now we just have to add in a few more straight segments, and there really isn't too much variety over here, and we don't want to overbake our grid, which means I want that to end right here. We'll have another straight point right here, and before I move on to the next one, I want to reorientate this road. I'm going to use this point to help me get close to the water without getting too close. Let's reverse this so the key wall is on the other side, and now let's add in the rest of our straight points. We'll have one right here, another one here, one more right here, and then before we connect all of this in, we want to extend our grid down here. And I know that our grid is 16 by 10, so I'm going to continue to expand that out, and then I'll leave markers for myself. While we're here, we might as well connect all of this in, and we'll also add the key wall. We have the road that goes all along the waterfront, and we have 2 options. We can continue to wrap it all the way down to the end, or we can terminate it. In our case, we are going to terminate it, but I want to make sure that the angle is right. I don't want this grid's angle and this grid's angle to be too similar. Otherwise, it won't introduce enough variation, and it's going to feel like we just took this grid and continued it all the way down, which is the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. So let's extend this 10 by 16. We'll measure the angle from this grid to this one, and there's only a 2-degree difference. I also want to check the curve to see where it starts, and we're just slightly off. So we're going to use move it and grab all of these nodes, and we just want to tweak the angle a bit, pull it down a tiny amount, and now when we check our curve, we get something that's half decent. So now that we have this, we have a slight variation here, but it's still not enough. Let's delete this road, and we're deleting it because we already decided that the waterfront road would terminate. So instead what we'll do is we'll carry this road down, but we have no natural connection point, which means we need to make one. The easiest way to do this is to look at whatever your framing device is and figure out the best way to get a nice clean connection in there. In this case, we're going to reorientate this road. I want it to be on a slightly more intense angle. Now we'll connect everything up with a curve. That's definitely better, but I still don't see a natural connection point for these 2 roads yet, which means we have to rely on our next framing device, which is our main highway. And last time, I set this grid up to perfectly mirror what our existing grid pattern is. So all we have to do is continue building this grid out. We'll go 10 up, 16 over, connect back in, and repeat. Now let's continue this pattern about 10 more times. And I have no idea how many times that actually was, but now that we have this grid in place, it makes this connection very obvious. We don't want to connect this road into this one. What we actually want to do is connect this road into this one. Let's run this road straight a bit, and then we'll do a nice gentle curve, This also makes this connection even that much easier. All we're gonna do is connect this road into this one. And honestly, we're gonna do a little bit of land reclamation here because this is probably gonna be cheaper than building the bridge, and we'll just upgrade this down to ground level. Now the road that's transitioned into our main road, this is where we're gonna terminate it. It doesn't have any business being any longer than this. So let's use the parallel road tool. We'll give about 8 units of offset, and we're just gonna curve this into this road. But we have an issue. We've terminated one of our main through roads. Right now, all of the roads within this vicinity, they're gonna be great for getting people into the district. What we need now though, is a road that provides great access. And because we have all of this built out, I can already see where that main road is gonna be. We have this highway, and it's essentially functioning as our main arterial. In fact, both of these highways are. But we don't want to rely on people having to turn right here in order to get into this district, which means we are going to make a connection directly into this intersection. Let's start by going up 10, and then I'll eyeball the angle, and it roughly leads to this road. Let's do a nice gentle curve, connect that last section up. Now, because this road is connecting into one of our most important intersections, we need to do more than carry traffic through this district. What we need to do is disperse traffic down here as well, which means we're going to eyeball this connection again. Let's go 10 units out here, and it doesn't really matter which road we connect it into, as long as it's not this one. And I just want to get a feel for how these are going to look. Based on alignment, I think this is going to be the best connection. Because this is going to be a main road, let's turn off snap to zoning cell length. We'll grab a 4-lane, get directly in that middle spot, which is going to break our zoning tiles, and it's going to suck, but it is what it is. And we'll upgrade that all the way through. Now this intersection is going to drive me crazy a bit because it just looks really weird. So we'll use move it to fix some of this up. And you know what? Maybe what we do is we unlock highways. We'll provide an extra turning lane. Same thing on this side. Now for this section, we have a few different areas we can pull from. The existing grid that we have over here. In fact, we have this 4-lane road, which I already know I want to carry down. And then we have the 2 sides that we can pull our grid from. That's our highway, and also this side. But then lastly, we have these gravel roads. And these can also be used to orientate and align our grid. So now really all I'm thinking about is where can I get some nice clean connections into this grid. So I might do something like that, for example. And then we can break this up a little bit further. And who knows, I might want this to be 2 giant plots. Maybe this is a future shopping section. Whatever it may be, maybe we need the extra room. The next part is to carry this grid all the way down. So we'll snap right into the middle of this gravel road. We're going to pull it down 20, and we're going to send it all the way across. I'm going to turn on snap to guidelines because we have this gravel road here, and we want to get directly in the middle and connect into our grid. Maybe this is some low density development, or maybe it's an apartment complex. And actually, because we have this cul-de-sac, I might decide that I want a road to terminate. And based on the orientation, that gives us 2 options: Franklin Street or Grove Street. And Grove Street is pretty short as it is. So the only reason you're coming down this street is if you live here. And I really like the idea of continuing that down. So as always, we're going to build out our grid a little bit further. We'll pull this down by 20 units. And now we'll curve Grove Street into our cul-de-sac street. And what I love about this process is that the more you do, the more connections you're able to see. We have this road, and I think a great connection would be into this one. We might as well send this through. Now there's only one real natural point for this 4-lane to enter, and that's this road. Now let's upgrade this all the way down. And ideally we want this road to terminate. But if I'm being completely honest, I have no idea where this road is going to terminate yet. The only way to find out is to continue building out our grid. I see another easy connection. Now with that pulled all the way through, there's another connection. Sometimes I like to take a step back, look at the overarching grid. That way I can get a bit more insight on where the next road needs to go. If you're anything like me, you can already see it. This 4-lane is going to terminate into this road, which means we're going to upgrade this all the way through. Now down here, we don't have to do anything fancy. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. let's just continue out our normal grid pattern. This road doesn't have a natural connection, which of course presents us with more options. We can either terminate it, or we can find the middle point of this grid, send it down, and then connect it in. And then again down here, we're going to pull this all the way through. And you know what? Maybe I want to terminate here. We're already making a lot of connections into our main 4-lane, and I think this is good enough. So let's chop this off. I'm going to follow the exact same pattern that I've been following, and I'm going to finish out this area. Now to finish this area off, we are going to grab right here. Using a 4-lane road, we're going to upgrade all the way down, and that's because this area desperately needed a higher capacity road to funnel traffic in. I'm pretty much happy with everything over here. The only thing I don't really like are the cul-de-sacs, but some things you just have to save for zoning. Trying to do it all at once is going to drive you crazy. Let's continue this road all the way down, and now let's curve these two roads into each other. We need to start expanding this side of the grid. We have this highway road, and I really want to put it to good use. So let's grab the parallel mode, and we'll select all of these nodes. And that is not it. We're going to select all of these nodes. I'm going to increase the horizontal offset to 70, and that's not quite perfect, but it's almost there. We'll have to do the last bit of work ourselves. It's a bit janky, but overall, it's going to be fine. Sometimes you're going to get really awkward connections like this one here. If we try to curve in, it gives us a weird looking shape. That's probably not the best way to describe it. All I know is that's a sign for me to stop curving the roads. Now we get a great connection right here. All that's left is this area, this one, and this one. I'm going to follow the same principles over here. I don't want a 4-way intersection really close to this intersection, so this is where this road will terminate, which means our next option is to either connect this road into here, or we curve it into there and call it a day. And that is the option that I'm going to go with. There is no rhyme or reason, it's just what I want to do. It's going to be very easy to continue this grid, but that is a trap. And it's a trap because this grid is already big, it's already long. Don't take that in the wrong context. Anyways, what that means is I want to break it up a bit more. If we were to continue this road down, it's going to end up merging into this one, which is usually the best time to make a couplet. Let's delete this, and let's pull this all the way down. We'll delete this extra piece, grab a 4-lane and snap directly in the middle. And we got to clean this up because this is looking awful. And we're going to upgrade these to be 2-lane, 1-way roads with trees and grass. This is North America, so the right side is going to be forward, and the left side is going to be down. And just because I like continuity, let's also make this trees and grass. We really only have 2 more sections left. This one's going to be super easy. First, the roads are sinking in, so we're going to pull all of them up. And because we have all of these straight segments, all we have to do is build our grid on each of them. And I'm not going to worry about grid size for a second, only because I want to curve this road into this one. Same thing on this side. And this is the last side that we need to do. Now it seems like we're setting up some more couplets again. There's 2 ways we can handle that. Before we do that, let's finish this spot right here. For this dual couplet situation, there's always 2 options. These were only measurement points. They don't have to stay. What we could do instead is take a 2-lane and just bring that all the way down. That's a perfectly fine option. But what I actually want to do is pull this grid up first. And this is also why measuring these grids out doesn't matter, because I'm just going to make a random connection somewhere in the middle anyways. This is going to add a bit of imperfection, which is really what you need sometimes. And actually on this side, this one is going to naturally connect in. Let's find the middle point, and that's going to be right here. And it looks like this one is going to naturally connect into this one. So now we can delete both of those. We don't need them anymore. All right, we only have 1 section left. That's right here. We're going to use the parallel road tool, and we're going to curve in at a 90. I don't want to make any more connections on this 4-lane. So all we need is some way to formalize that. Let's try a mushroom head, or maybe even a heart. At this point in time, I'm not so sure that's... Also, sometimes you're gonna have really bad ideas. Instead of beating yourself up about them, just accept that everyone does. Even that mushroom head is a bit stressful. Yeah, I'm gonna delete that. The last problem that I have is these block lengths. They're way too long. And for now, I'll stub that connection off. And now it's time to reveal the final product. Here is the grid done in all its glory, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's not super rigid, it makes a lot of sense, and there's a lot of natural connection points. Is this the best suburban grid? No, definitely not. Is this going to make for a good downtown or urban or dense environment for North America? 100%. The other key thing is that we can continue expanding this grid. Maybe very soon these farms get bought out and they get replaced with 2-lane roads, and we sprawl like we've never sprawled before. Now let's move on to zoning. Actually wait, before we even touch zoning, let's fix our waste management. We have $1.1 million in the bank, we're making $352,000 every month, so overall, we're in a good enough place. We don't need to sidestep this issue anymore, and we definitely want to add all this in before we zone anything. There's going to be 2 deciding factors. It's our air pollution and our ground pollution. This peninsula is going to be home to most of our industrial, which means this is exactly where we want something like our garbage facility. It's going to be right at home. We're going to purchase this tile and it's going to cost us nothing, only because we didn't start with a full tile. We're going to need one main road, and thankfully we already have that connection right here. To start, let's send this out 20 units, and then I want to do a little bit of cleanup on this intersection. And we're also going to upgrade both of these to have a turning lane. We will keep the lights because they are definitely needed in an intersection like that. Now we'd have to figure out where this 4-lane is going, and this is just one of those things I don't think need to be very complex. We're going to send it all the way to the edge of the water, and that's all we're doing. We're going to try and position this in a smart way though, so we'll have a bit of setback from our water. I want to grab these alleyways that we created in the last one, and we're going to use it to create an approach for the landfill. The big thing that bugs me about this building is that the connections don't really make all that much sense. So to fix this, we're going to use Road Builder, and we're going to use this as a template. We'll swap this lane to be forward, and that gives us a one-way wide alley. Now I'm going to measure this out to get the middle point, which is 16. So roughly right there is the middle point. Let's pull this all the way down. We're going to use the complex curve tool. We'll go down 10 units, over by however many that is, and then back in, and the exact same thing on this side. And then we just need to do a little bit of node manipulation to clean all of this up. This section needs to be a 2-way, and right, that's not going to be good enough. We're going to use this as a template because we're going to need an extra lane on each side. Now you're probably wondering why we need 2 lanes, and there's only one reason. I'm skipping ahead in time right now, and I'm not picturing this as it is now, I'm picturing it as it is when this entire area is filled with industrial. The garbage trucks are going to need good access to the peninsula. So it's easier to think about both movements now, rather than worry about it later. The last thing I want to do is get our landfill area set up. There is one thing that I really like to do when I build at a landfill. So instead of having all these perfect straight angles, what I like to do is get really close and introduce a bunch of random variation. So the only snap to that we need is snap to existing geometry. Just make some jagged edges, some jagged curves, really just anything to make it feel not so perfect. I don't know if you can see the difference or if I'm crazy. Actually, you know what? Give me 1 second. There is the before and after. Please let me know if I'm crazy. Now, of course, we can't leave it like this. This looks way too clean. It's gonna be an eyesore. First, let's replace the concrete surface with something a bit more dirty. Now let's take our stain decals and the grid tool, and I'm just gonna do the laziest thing possible by spamming them in. We'll also take a few of these large stains and place some of them on top of the roof, because there's no way the roof should be this clean. If you want to get really crazy about it, you could do the sides as well. Now until detailing, that is exactly where I'm going to leave this because I'm going to start going crazy if I go any further. Let's finally move on to some zoning. And of course, we're going to start with our farms. We have a super dense concentration of fertile land here. We are producing less vegetables than grain. So let's make all of this vegetable farms. And there we go. With our farms done, we are ready to move on to services. And to make things easier, I've already created the 2 districts. It's Brightwater Burn and Beechwood Gardens. The polls for all of these districts will be up very soon. I'm currently focusing on the city one. If you haven't voted yet, go check out the posts. For our small medical clinic, we want it somewhere central. Let's place that right here. And the goal with placing it right here is to give us future upgradability. So maybe what we do is we give this its own custom district, and we'll call this the medical center. Every single time we place in a service, we are going to assign it to all 3 of these districts. For death care, let's check in on our crematorium down here. Currently, it has 0 out of 10 deceased. It's not processing any bodies, and there's 0 out of 5 vehicles in use. This is perfect because we can assign it to every single one of these districts, and we also need to create a district for the landfill. Short term, I'm just going to make this one massive district. Temporarily, I'm going to call that the industrial/landfill. We're almost at max capacity for our small elementary school. It only has enough room for 12 more students. Similar story with our small high school. Our police and fire coverage are being stretched, and because I think we can afford it, we'll make sure to give this area its own school, its own fire department, and its own police service. For schools, we want to place them somewhere very cheap, but also very central, and the best spot to me looks like right here. This time we're going to add on the gymnasium, and before we do anything, let's set it to these districts only. For the high school, I really don't like reusing assets, but at this point in time, it's really our only option. So we'll get that placed in beside our elementary school, and then we're going to upgrade this road to have parking on it. And I really don't want to add another sports field. It's going to start to feel a little bit repetitive. So I have a better idea. Let's chop this connection off, we'll get rid of the parking lot, and we're going to say that this school specializes in tennis. Although I really don't like the idea of connecting these to a road, and because this is a high school, I don't really mind if the students have to cross a parking lot. And if we can make it work, I want to get 4 of these in. And it's going to work, that is amazing. As always, we're going to replace these decals with something a bit more calm. There's a tiny bit of orange just poking through, so I'm going to line the street with some trees. And using Better Bulldozer, I'm going to delete the parking, because I feel like it's entirely unnecessary. Although if I'm being honest, I have no idea if that breaks the asset, so we're going to use the invisible pedestrian path and connect these 2 areas up. We're going to have a small Netherlands fire station, and we're going to place that closer to our highway. And that's going to be a pretty noisy use. So let's zone a little bit of commercial. Then for police, we're going to place it right beside the fire station. They're both noisy, and until we can use better assets, I think pairing them up is a nice strategy. I don't really want to waste all of our commercial demand in this area only, so to help fill the void, we'll have a small warehouse sector here. And for now, I think that's going to do nicely. Across from all of this, let's have a nice little church right here. And of course, it's a church, it's going to need a whole bunch of parking, which means we will turn the parking fee off, and we'll wrap a nice little path all around it. Our money is slowly starting to go down, so the last service we'll provide is parks. We'll place a large playground there, and near this industrial, let's have a dog activity park. We will need to pull this over to the side though, just to ensure that we have the right of way to upgrade this road in the future. Down by our elementary school, let's have another park, and a place for all of the teachers to park. That's probably a bit overkill, but you know what, I'm fine with it. We're going to use this path as a barrier, and then we're going to line it with a bunch of trees. The kids in high school are definitely going to need somewhere to get food, so give us your biggest shopping center, please. You know what, that's fine. 3 buildings will do. And I want to check our park coverage. Down here, we seem to be perfect. We are having issues on this side though. Let's try and stay upwind from the industrial, and right here is a perfect spot. That should fix all of our coverage, and no, it really, oh wow, okay. I'm just really not excited about placing it downwind of the industrial. That's the playground, that's as far as I'm going, I'm not doing any more. That's gonna be good enough. Now let's swap to residential zoning. I'm probably gonna end up bouncing back between a few different zoning types, so I apologize in advance, but near our high school and our elementary school, I wanna get a bit of medium density. And I actually think the best place to position it is right near our highway. It's gonna feel off for a little bit, but once we upgrade the road and bulldoze some of our farms for more real estate, it'll feel a little bit better. These are really just going to be copy and paste buildings. There isn't going to be all that much effort going into them. Their surfaces are a bit wonky. That's going to be fine. We'll fix all of that in detailing. Now across from our elementary school, we're going to build a small row home complex. And I want this to feel fairly new. So let's use these North American residential medium rows. Step 1, I want to get these placed into this road. And then using Move It, I am going to flip all of them around. And we're going to have a little bit of breathing room from the highway. And now we're going to take a 2-lane perpendicular parking road and provide that access and zone the exact same thing on the other side. And now I want to be able to wrap a 2-lane road around, but that is not going to be enough right away. So we're going to chop one more section of house off, and that is going to be perfect. And the more I build this out, the more I hate how big this road is. It is obnoxious. Let's swap the parking to be an alleyway, and the actual roads to also be an alleyway. That feels much more to scale. And in the middle of all this beautiful development, they're going to have a park and a path. That's it. There is only one thing that I feel is missing, and that is more parking. That's going to make this parking lot a little bit more confusing, but if you just pretend with me, and if you stop interrupting me, just pretend it's both ways. We hit milestone 7, we're a busy town. That's great. We're going to unlock a bunch of stuff that I don't care about, because the only thing that we care about is the money. Now let's quickly add in a few trees. And for a small little row house complex, I think that's pretty nice. Just like that though, we have exhausted all of our medium density demand, and we are still not ready for high density. There is no way we can support the services required. So that means we are going to zone in a bunch of low density, and I really don't want to have to think about this too much. There is only one consideration that I'm going to make. Because I'm using Southwestern, I have to zone 3 units deep. Otherwise, these buildings are going to drive me crazy because they want alleyway access, and we're not going to provide it. So 3 units deep is going to be the norm. We're going to pause while that's filling in, so we can send a small road up, add in a cul-de-sac. Now that this is done filling in, we'll remove the zoning and only add it to these ones. And then we'll just spray a few trees around, only a few, I promise. It's going to be the exact same thing with this street. This is when we're going to change things a little bit. I don't want any residential spawning on this 4-lane. We want to focus most of our commercial and our offices here. And I have a bad feeling no matter how I zone this in, I'm never going to be happy. But I'm going to give it a shot. I want to change. New series, new me. Now I want to find a way to work these Romanian residential mediums in. These remind me of cheaper North American residential apartments. They'd be highly affordable. And honestly, I just like the asset. So I say, let's concentrate this right near this road. We're going to send this up, add in a nice little cul-de-sac, and then we're going to place 3 of them, each with 2 units of separation in between. Now we're going to add in some very cheap parking, and we'll cap all this off with a one-way. And this was probably a little unnecessary. Let's delete the cul-de-sac and reverse this. And also make this one parking too. We're going to place in a quick path there, and then we're going to fill the rest of this area with trees, mostly because it's never going to look right until we extend these roads through the farms. Let's quickly check in to see how our commercial looks, and we are getting hotels. Banned and banned, 3 of them banned, lodging banned, the rest seem to be fine. We only have demand for hotels. That's very unfortunate. Let's drop our taxation down for commercial. We'll go to 8% for now. Let's do the same thing for offices. Hopefully we can get some office demand. Worst case scenario, we'll zone it all to be low density residential and deal with the upzoning later on. Let's move a lot quicker now. We're going to remove all the zoning from these side streets. This is one really long block. There's 2 ways we could break it up. We could either use a road or an alley, or we could use a path. I pretty much always use a road or an alley, so this time I'm going to break it up with a path. And honestly, this is going to be great for the community. We're going to provide direct access to the school and unfortunately kick this person out of their home. And honestly, it's perfect. In the city, if you complain, your home gets demolished. I will remove all the lights and hope that citizens can deal with it on their own. And now we should be ready to grab all of this and zone it directly in. And our tax breaks have worked. We have office demand again, which is just amazing. I really don't want to put the offices behind people's houses. I'd much rather have commercial here. but I could probably see some cheaper offices within this lot. And we still have more office demand. Okay, this is good news. And I want to be careful because I could seriously envision this being some type of city center. Short term, we will have to do something with it though. If we take this older looking office building, I think this has a lot of potential for the waterfront. Something like that right there. And if we place this one in the middle, it kind of works. Our demand is being a bit wonky, so to simplify this is all going to be low density for now. So far, the sprawl looks pretty crazy. It's going to look a lot better soon, don't worry. In these districts, most of our office is concentrated down here, and that's already not that much. But it's better than nothing. Down here, the people don't have anything, and we're going to give them something. So we're just going to add in a few of these office buildings. It doesn't need to be complex. We're going to add a path through the middle, and a pocket park on each side, and the rest will just be tree span. And over the course of placing those buildings in, this area has really come to life. I'm going to place a bunch of commercial on our main street. I've been playing on 3 times speed, that way the demand would come back quicker. For the most part, it's worked. But I know there's one thing on your mind right now, and don't worry, we're about to fix it right here, right now. In order to do this, we're going to bulldoze all of these homes, and we're going to sell out to big business. Walmart? Yeah, right. It is Barnes & Noble. Just look at this thing in all its glory. Everything about it is amazing. I want to get the orientation for this perfect. So first, let's snap the building towards this side of the road. Now we're going to run a 2-lane road right up to the building's edge, and temporarily we're going to connect that into both sides. Let's flip this around. Same thing with this one. And it's just so perfect. Honestly, it's so perfect. These got to be really close together. We're going to push them all off to the side. And now let's upgrade these to be an alleyway. We'll make sure to get rid of the lights. And in this case, we are going to have crosswalks, because you're going to want to be able to cross the street and come to Barnes & Noble. Now what I'm thinking for the side here is we can have some employee parking. And in these bigger lots, this is where all of you beautiful customers are going to come to purchase books from the greatest bookstore to ever exist. I definitely want to use the modern parking, but it looks like we might need to rework this road. And by rework, I apparently mean delete. Ideally, we'd get 2 of these in, and it might be possible, but it seems like we're kind of stretching it. All right, now this might sound crazy, but what if we take this surface and just place it right over top of all this? No, it doesn't overlap. Okay, that's unfortunate. I can salvage this. If we search up Target, what we should find is the cart corral. Perfect. And we just need to get a few of these bad boys in. And honestly, I may have made this more difficult than need be. We can just use one of these decals. But I've also already committed to this cart idea, so we're going to do it. Of course, we have to scatter some of these around, because for whatever reason, no one wants to put their cart away. Finally, I have committed some crimes here. I'm going to hide all of it up with some trees, and you won't even be able to tell the difference. And there you go. Now you can sleep at night knowing that Barnes & Noble's is protecting you. I can already see the value of these homes skyrocketing. Because we have these medium density buildings here as well, it's going to be nice to contrast it with something that's slightly higher. Even something like that right there should do the trick. We're going to lock all of this, because I don't want those getting any higher, and I need to do the same thing with these ones. And yeah, this one leveled up. That's unfortunate. We're still running into the barrier of demand. It seems like we have commercial demand, but we don't. We only have demand for hotels. We will in fact zone all of these 4-lane roads to have residential. And that's going to be all of our zoning for now. I have a bunch of big plans for how this is going to expand, but now I want to take a break and do some detailing. So let's just jump right in. And there we go, that's detailing done. I have a very simple rule at the start of a city. Detail way less than you usually would. And that's because all of this is subject to change. This is going to grow and evolve like crazy. It's not going to be static. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Today's shoutouts go to Jake Hill, Gary Key, Deku, Middleveen, Michael Mills, Evan Aird, Henry Volpel, Justin, and to everyone else. I cannot say thank you enough. For sneak peeks, save files, and much more, you can join us over on Patreon or YouTube. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.